Well, we're extremely excited to be a part of a historical day Saturday. We give a lot of credit to Carl Benson, our commissioner, on how he stabilized the league and really established some credibility. Certainly, I think the divisional format and the championship game has proved to be a huge positive for the league, and we're excited about representing the Western Division. Extremely proud of our players and our staff for the perseverance and the improvement that we showed throughout the year, and looking forward to the matchup Saturday. I think I want to go back and give some credit to Coach Viator and his team and staff for the way their team competed and played in the game Saturday. It was a heck of a football game, and we've got a lot of respect for how they go about their business, being right here in our state. But this is a tremendous opportunity for our team. I think we've been in playoff mode for several weeks now, and really tried to focus on improvement and trying to get ourselves in position where we could win in advance. And, we've made it to the championship game, and certainly I think it's because of that, because we've been able to do that. But we're still looking for that complete game. We're still looking to put all three phases together and play our best football. But we're excited, especially as a first-year staff, to be part of Saturday and look forward to this opportunity and challenge.
Thank you so much, Coach. Our first questions come from Steve Baer with the Watauga Democrat Gazette. Please go ahead, Steve.
Hi, how you doing, Coach? Can you just kind of give me the skinny on Appalachian State? What stands out to you as far as our offense and defense?
Well, they're number one in the league in scoring defense and scoring offense. They've got I think they're a product of consistency and stability. I think they really know who they are. They've got a blueprint that works in terms of how they play defense and offense, and certainly on special teams. All three phases complement each other. They've got really good team speed. Good at both lines of scrimmage, good in rushing the ball and playing rush defense, and they're +5 on the year on takeaways. So I think in general they've settled in there. Coach Satterfield's done a great job. As time has went, they've recruited through their systems. Got to give Coach Satterfield some credit. He's been able to handle attrition on his staff, and I think that goes a lot of credit to him for just keeping some consistency in their scheme, their routine, the culture that they have there, and their transition from FCS to Division I football has been awesome to watch. So, we got a lot of respect for how they play. It's no surprise to me that they're in the championship game and represent the East.
You mentioned their speed. They have it on defense. I'm just wondering, is this a team that you just have to run right at, and because it's harder to run around them, or how does that affect your play calling?
Well, obviously that wouldn't be very smart for me to answer that question, but
generally,
I think
I'm sorry.
I think they're good at defending every type of play. You don't hold opponents under 300 yards of total offensive game on average if you're not good at everything. They know exactly who they are. They know how they're put together, and they've got good answers, and they're just multiple enough to create issues for you. But it starts with effort, pursuit, fundamentals, and good players. So I think they do a really good job on defense for sure.
As far as yourselves, that was a rough start when you got to play Mississippi State and Alabama, but you guys managed to obviously survive that. Was there anything in particular that any changes that you made, or you just kind of doubled down on what you're doing and just started having success?
Well, I think we grew a lot. I think our entire building grew, just relative to knowing what to expect Sunday to Saturday, what a typical week looks like. I think each person in the entire organization has gotten better at their job, whether it's the equipment guy, the trainer, certainly grad assistant, quality control people, players, full-time coaches, myself even being a first-time head coach. I think we just, gradually improved at our process week to week, and certainly there, I think some of that adversity that we went through earlier in the year ended up being a positive because it really made us regroup and recenter and take a good look in the mirror, challenge our players to, develop some ownership. And the two games against the SEC West teams are one thing, but the loss to Coastal, I think, also was a little bit of a catapult game for us where, we had to kind of regroup a little bit, and it challenged our character. And I think the character of these kids and the consistency of our staff, professionalism of our staff showed up. And, we stayed the course, and we knew it would be a little bit of a journey, and that journey's not over. So we're going to just keep chopping away here and see how much we get out of this group.
You're coming back to Boone. Is there anything that stands out from that game that you had? They really couldn't run away from you, but it was kind of a thing where they kind of held you at arm's length, I guess.
Yeah, it ended up being a 10-point game. I mean, we generated some offense in the game, but not nearly enough to win the game. I think defensively we hung in there for a while. And it's, with special teams, it was probably a scratch. But, it was a well-fought game. We were able to make it competitive, but certainly lots of areas for improvement. And I think they probably feel the same way. But, logistically, getting to Boone, traveling to Boone, haven't been through that this year. I think we'll try to make that process a little smoother. I think it's a positive for us. We've been there before. We know what to expect. Nothing's going to catch you by surprise. But, bottom line is you have to put the ball down. The players are going to play. And, that's what it'll come down to.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Steve. And our next questions are going to come from David Scott with the Charlotte Observer. Please go ahead, David.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm fine, thanks. You've got a lot of experience playing and coaching up in this part of the country. What's been your view from afar and also playing against them of Appalachian and the program over the years? Kind of what do they represent?
Well, I've always been a very competitive team, even going back to my time as a player. Always been a team that had an identity, very competitive, very well supported. I think they've got good alignment with their administration, their athletic department. I think they've got a group of fans and alumni that want to be good. They want to be competitive. They take great pride in playing a high level of football. So you've seen a commitment from them, in their transition from FCS to Group of 5 ball, and certainly they've made that transition well. They've made facility improvements, and they recruited well. I think they're in a place where they can pull from lots of different areas to put together a good roster, and they sell tickets, and they've got a strong showing, and it's one heck of an environment. So winning tradition is oftentimes undervalued, in my opinion. No matter what level of ball, there's an expectation and a tradition of winning. And I think that's where Coach Satterfield has tremendous values. He was a number of years player, coach, assistant coach, whatever the case may be, going back to his experiences and, it meaning a little bit more. I think all those things are very important. And they've got a number of former players that are involved on their staff as well. So, tradition is critical when you start talking about this game and, sustaining success.
Remember anything about your games against them? I think you were 2-2 against them, played pretty well in a couple of them.
A lot of good days, a lot of bad days, I would say. Some of them you probably want to forget, but we had, back then in the Southern Conference, it was kind of a Furman, Appalachian State, Georgia Southern was kind of the teams that were in contention each year. And you always was very competitive with those three teams. That's what I kind of like about being in this league now. You get a chance to play against some of those teams that I played against as a player in the old Southern Conference. But a lot of fun, man. That's what I would say, and sometimes I have to pinch myself. They get a chance to coach football for a living, and
yeah,
I think it's I love the strategy and the competition, but love just being a part of a team and the people that are involved in this game and the opportunity that you have to impact people and get to know lots of people. So see it no different, competition is it's if you're a real competitor, there's nothing better than college football.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, David. Our next question comes from Dan McDonald with The Advocate. Dan, please go ahead.
Morning, Coach. You talked about the logistics of this game, but this is probably it's the hardest place for you to get to, I guess, of anybody in the league. Are there some issues there, or what are some things that you're going to try to do a little bit different?
Well, I think it is what it is. We're gonna put together the best plan we can. Maybe quality control the trip from last time, but we've got a great plan. I think Troy Wingert, our operations guy, worked closely with our AD, Brian Maggard, and assistant AD, Nico Yanko. And we've got great support from the president and CFO. And, I think we've got a really good plan to try to, be prepared as much as we can. So, we're going to dot every I and cross every T. I think we're committed to winning here. And certainly, when you're working through logistics from a travel standpoint, there's all kind of ways to try to improve there, and I think we're prepared to do that.
Your team, obviously, you played 6 weeks ago. What to you is the biggest difference in that team, that your team from 6 weeks ago into now?
I think it's all intangibles. I think it's ownership. I think it's been a focus on improvement. I think there's more accountability relative to doing their job. I think our processes has worked, and I think our staff's done a really good job of kind of utilizing the personnel that we have. And certainly we've seen rookie players make improvement. We've executed at a higher rate. And we've eliminated some of those inconsistencies and deficiencies that we've had in the past. Now, how do we measure up against App State? I don't know. But I think we've got a lot more belief, a lot more confidence. I think we're a much more tight-knit group, and I think it's a group that, is excited about this opportunity and anxious to compete Saturday.
I know you're focused on the conference championship game, but your guys also pretty much locked up a bowl game for the future after this Saturday. How much did that, did having that sort of burden off your shoulders play into it?
We try not to think about that or talk about that any at all. I think there's a little bit of an external factor that we couldn't control, and I think our guys did a really good job of focusing on the things that help them prepare well and play well. And now that is kind of a given, I think it's a huge positive for our program and team, certainly for our university. To have an opportunity to reward our players with a bowl game a week, away, an opportunity to play another game for these seniors. Certainly, I think there'll be some gratification and rewards that come from that. So, big step for our staff as well, in our first year to be able to really secure that with the win, not only win the West, but also secure bowl eligibility 100%, So, I think it was something that, maybe was in the back of our mind, but we really didn't talk about it at all.
Appreciate it, Coach.